It's Wednesday, March 6, 2024. A lot to talk about today. So much happening. Before we do, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted when the newest videos drop. Also, stay to the entirety of this video. I'm going to do a small unboxing today, so stay tuned to that. But let's get right into what's happening. I think this is pretty serious. This coming from The Hedge today. It's been all over the news. New York Community Bank announces $1 billion equity infusion. Former Treasury Secretary Mnuchin joins board. It says here, having shares collapsed over 40% before being halted for news pending. Bloomberg reports New York Community Bank plans to announce an equity investment of more than $1 billion led by Steve Mnuchin's Liberty Strategic Capital, Hudson Bay Capital, and Reverence Capital Partners. The question now is going to be how diluted the current holders just got. And to me, I mean, this is another bank bailout, but it's private investors now trying to rescue this bank. Question is, what if they can't do it? Is the Fed going to jump in? Is a bigger bank going to jump in? I say let them go. The bank is seeking to raise equity capital in a bid to shore up confidence in the troubled regional lender. I wouldn't have any of my money in this bank today. There's no guarantee there will be a deal or that one would succeed in addressing the bank's challenges, which, as of Wednesday morning, had led to a roughly 80% decline in its stock price since January. Would you have your money in this bank right now? I would have every penny out of it. I would not be holding any deposits in this bank. Remember, it's not just New York Community Bank that's in trouble. Lots of these regional banks are in very big trouble. The delinquency rate among big banks hit 3%, the highest in 11 years. Delinquency rate among small banks hit 7.8%, the highest in history. Do we have a banking problem? Yes, we do. When you're having to infuse $1 billion into a bank, I say we've got trouble. So it sounds to me that this bank, just like many other banks, have highly overvalued a lot of this commercial real estate. So maybe they should be in jail. Maybe they should be put up on trial because they overvalued a lot of this commercial real estate. And now they're in big trouble. Investors in these banks in big trouble. So markets are up today. Markets across the board up, ignoring all this. So another possible bank collapse. And yet markets are up. And how about this? Jerome Powell reinforces position that the Fed is not ready to start cutting interest rates. Markets up. So markets either know something or they are flat out just ignoring Jerome Powell and the Fed. It says here, the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, said policymakers remain attentive to the risk that inflation poses and don't want to ease up too quickly. So I guess what everybody's doing is just buying everything. Just buy everything. That's what these markets are continuing to ignore the debt. They're ignoring the commercial real estate crisis. They're ignoring the banking crisis. They're ignoring economic crisis. And everybody, I guess, is just going to continue to buy everything until it crashes. But it's amazing how much these markets are ignoring. Powell noted again that lowering banking rates too quickly risk losing the battle against inflation and likely having to raise rates further while waiting too long poses danger to economic growth. But we're told that unemployment is what, 3.7%, GDP is up. Housing prices are still up, stock market at all-time highs. You've got job losses or jobless claims low. So what is going to justify Jerome Powell and the Fed to say, hey, we've got to cut rates? It seems on paper, according to the data, everything is doing just dandy. We know that the economy is crashing. I seriously believe we're already in depression. But looking at the official data, what is Jerome Powell going to use as the excuse to start cutting rates? They're saying that the labor market is strong, home prices are high, the economy is booming because people are using credit cards. GDP up. Again, I don't see how they're going to be able to cut rates. It's going to be very, very good for metals when they do, though. It says here, don't be enticed. See on CNBC, don't be enticed by the gold rally. Expert says investors buy gold and hope it doesn't go up. You know what? I agree 100%. I hope it doesn't go up, because the more it goes up, the more it is indicating to you and I that things are breaking, that there's big trouble. Gold does well, it says, when other assets and the world are in trouble. And I'll tell you, I've never seen the world in so much trouble. For instance, we're looking at wars in Ukraine, wars in Gaza, possibly war in Taiwan. We have this upcoming presidential election. Going to be a lot of things going on with that. Uncertainty around interest rates and inflation. The markets continue to hope for rate cuts. And again, those cuts aren't going to help the average person. Those cuts are going to help the wealthy. It's not going to help most people. In fact, it's going to make it worse, because it's going to produce more inflation. Putin recently warned of nuclear conflict. We have $34 trillion in debt, $175 trillion of maybe $190 trillion in unfunded liabilities, Medicare, Medicaid. Gold does well when other financial assets are in the red, and especially when people lose faith in banks and money. Are you losing, let me ask you this, are you losing faith in the banking system? Are you losing faith in the money system? Are you losing faith in the US dollar? Because I'll tell you what, it seems that a lot of countries around the world are losing a lot of faith in the US dollar. And what's happening right now with New York Community Bank is another reminder of just how fragile the banking system is. We are not being told the truth. Many, many banks are in big, big trouble. And I don't understand why they just don't let these banks fail. They're going to try to bail this bank out with private investment money, and it probably won't work. And then what? Is the Fed going to have to come in and bail it out? And you know who's going to pay for that? We are. If a bigger bank takes it over, they're going to take all the good assets and leave you with the bad assets, and so we get the bill. So look, I believe in real capitalism, not crony capitalism, that, look, if you cannot produce money, if you don't make money, if you made bad bets, you gambled bad, you bought up all these bonds and rates went up, that's on you. You invested in commercial real estate, overvalued these properties, that's on you. You made bad car loans, loan to value of 140%, then you deserve to go out of business. You know right now, if you're a business owner, if you were running a business like these banks, you would be out of business a long time ago. But you don't get bailed out. They do. And who bails them out? We do. Our money, our tax money. The average tax refund is over $1,700, how Americans plan to spend it. You know, think about $1,700. That's not a whole lot of money. But it says on the CNBC article, most people are going to put it in their savings or pay off debt. This will not even make a dent. Again, I don't understand how people are surviving at this point. I think they really are not surviving. CNBC, credit scores decrease for the first time ever in a decade as more borrowers fall behind on payments. This on top of the 23% interest rate plus on your credit card. But this is what happens when people have no savings, no cushion, no emergency reserve. They are highly reliant on credit cards. And we've talked about this recently about, what's going to happen to people when their credit scores begin to go down. They're not going to be able to rent a room, rent an apartment, buy a car. This is going to really limit people, and it's going to make it much more difficult to survive in one of the worst economic downturns ever. 18% of borrowers had a more than 30-day past due missed payment. 18%. That's almost 2 out of 10 people. That's incredible. That is up from 16.5% the year before. I got to ask this question. Are we now in a depression? I mean, every day, are we in recession? Are we going to have a recession, crash landing, soft landing, no landing? I think we are so beyond that. We, in my opinion, are in a depression. And this is going to get really, really bad. And it's getting bad for a lot of people right now. And, when you read this on CNBC, they have another one talking about missed payments. We're reading more and more about this on a lot of the MSN here. the mainstream. So we have credit score decreasing for first time in a decade. Then here's another article that came out today. As late mispayments rise, credit card borrowers face consequences for falling behind. Late fees and negative credit reporting are hurting credit scores. So this is the second article today on this. Cardholders coughed up $130 billion in credit card interest and late fees in 2022. The 2023 numbers will blow that away. More than 45 million cardholders are charged late fees. Why are you late? Probably the obvious answer is because the people don't have the money to make the payment and they're making the bare minimum. Americans owe $1.13 trillion on credit cards. The average balance, $6,360. I think that's a very conservative number. I think that the number is much higher than that. Delinquencies surged in 2023. It says 90 days plus delinquent jumped by 50%. This is not a good sign for the health of the U.S. consumer. That is for sure. Here's one today also on CNBC. And, first off, before I forget, and we're talking about, what's happening with gold. We're talking about this massive debt that people are getting themselves entangled in. Really, really quick, I said I would do this unboxing. I don't want to forget. So I got this a few days back from SD Bullion. I try to walk the walk the best that I can. And I know people will be like, you shouldn't show this stuff. Look, I put my assets in multiple places. And if you want to come here, let me tell you, everybody in this house is a killer. Everybody here can take care of business. This would be the wrong place to come. And again, I don't keep everything in one place, but again, we are prepared to deal with evil. That is for sure. But I got a little buffalo here, 1 ounce buffalo from SD Bullion. I'm going to check this. I don't know if that's, there you go. So I like these a lot. So I got some of these. And again, I'm betting against the debt. When you look at what's happening globally, you're looking at the debt, you're looking at the uncertainty, you're looking at war, the devaluation of the dollar. You have to do what you feel is right for you. I believe, in my humble opinion, buying real things with history, things that I can get to quickly, things that I can take anywhere in the world and people regard as money. They look at this as money. These are the things I'm buying. And, if you're buying gold, you're buying silver. Also, I want to give a shout out to my dear friend, Ryan. This is a gold balance. And this is a great little tool because you can take the 7 most popular gold coins. You can measure weight, diameter, and width. And so when we get to a point where computers don't work, grids down, lights are out, and you need to measure somebody's gold coin, maybe you're doing a transaction, maybe you're buying some other asset, and you're going to take a gold ounce from somebody, this is not a bad little investment. So people go, oh, it's $26, that little piece of plastic. But if somebody wants to buy a cow from me, somebody's buying anything from me, food, whatever it might be, this is going to be well worth $26. Ryan also has them that will measure your 7 most popular silver coins too. So I'll put his link down below. Ryan's he's a good dude. He walks the walk. He's in the precious metals business, and I support people in the community. So I want to give Ryan a shout out. I'll put the link down below. So if you need some of this, go to SD Bullion. I'll put that link down below. Also, tools, knives, things that I carry every day as part of my EDC that I think is so important. TCal knives, some of the best in the world. Just incredible. I don't even know if you can get his knives. He's always sold out. TCal knives, some of the best knives in the world. These are real things. There's no magic pill. There's no potion. There's no video that is going to make you a stronger, better, more prepared person. You've got to put in the work. You should be buying real things. You should be buying gear. You should be buying real assets. That's my humble opinion. This is all real stuff. This will enhance, this will help everybody in a time of need. Knives, security, coins, balances, things like that, skills. These are all things that are real. But you got to put in the work too. You got to be getting in better shape. You got to be working on your boxing skills. You got to be working on your jiu-jitsu. All really, really important things. Really quick, I wanted to bring this up. I want to acknowledge this and respond to this. I was reading a comment yesterday on Twitter X. Go to my Twitter X. I post my videos there. A lot of people do comment there. And some parasite yesterday told me to F off because I said that everybody should be voting. If you're not voting, you're a hypocrite. And yes, I get that there's a lot of game playing that goes on. But the day where we do not exercise our right, the day that we don't want to go out, make the effort, and just flood the system with our votes is the day that they win. I think that it's our duty. I think it's our responsibility. And, you know, this individual goes, I'm never going to buy from SD Bullion. I'm never going to buy nothing from SD Bullion because JB said I'm a hypocrite for not voting. We've lost so many of our rights here in California because so many people like this parasite sat on the couch and couldn't get up and take a couple minutes to go vote or mail in his ballot. Because of parasites like this, we lost a lot of our rights right here. And you know why? Because of people like that, people who talk the big talk, people, you know, who complain every day that they can't do this or that, or, you know, they're losing their rights because these parasites, these losers and lowlifes couldn't get off the couch and take a couple minutes or fill out a form and mail it in. So this lowlife goes, I'm not going to buy from SD Bullion because JB says you're a hypocrite if you don't vote. Well, fortunately, I did buy from SD Bullion. I will continue to buy from SD Bullion. People that I know, many of you who've been buying from SD Bullion way before I have, will continue because it's not about SD Bullion. It's about owning real assets. It's about gold. It's about silver. It's about God's money. And any lowlife parasite who sits there and says we shouldn't vote and exercise our freedom and right to do that, yet promotes that he owns gold and silver, you are a hypocrite. What a contradiction. But anyways, it is what it is. There are people with mental issues. I understand that. This person might be in an institution. Maybe they need help. I'm praying for you. But do you think that because I call somebody a hypocrite for not voting, that's going to offend me, that scares me or bothers me? I'm going to call it the way I see it. I'm going to call it the way I see it. And I would feel like a complete loser and hypocrite if I didn't vote the other day because I'm part of the problem. Yes, the system has issues. There's no doubt about it. More reason why we need to have our voices heard. More reason why we need to be voting. More reason why we need to be out of the closet and making noise. People like you just want to sit at home and complain and go, I ain't going to buy nothing from SD Bullion because JB said you should go out and vote. Anybody that is buying gold and silver, I would think that the majority of people who exercise this freedom are exercising the freedom to vote. So don't be a parasite. Don't be a lowlife. Be an American. Get off the couch. Make the effort. Maybe it doesn't count, but somewhere, especially locally, there's places where it counts. But how do you not make the noise? How do you not make the effort? How do you not make it known without voting? Yeah, maybe it's not going to be counted here and there, but they know that you are awake. They know that we are the majority of people. They know that the Americans still exist, that people who want freedom, people who want things to change still exist. And the only way to make it happen is that we flood the polls. We continue to, from the local all the way up. We need to flood the polls and be voting, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever side you're on, okay? How in the world can you live in this country and not make the effort? I can't do that. I cannot do that. And I'm not saying you're a bad person for not voting, but we are in troubling times, maybe the worst in history. And to not even make an effort by at least going and voting, man, that is bad. Because if things fall apart, things collapse in America, the only people to blame is going to be us because we didn't do anything about it. We allow things to get this bad. So a couple of last things I want to share with you. Russian oligarchs' yacht is costing U.S. taxpayers close to $1 million a month just to take care. Just to service this yacht is costing $1 million a month. Guess who's paying for it? You're paying for it. It was seized in 2022. So we're going on 2 years at $1 million a month. And I guarantee you this oligarch who owns this ship is already building a bigger one. Russia is getting richer. The sanctions aren't working, but yet your taxpayer, Your tax-paying money is going to service some Russian yacht. Why in the world do you think the world is going away, distancing themselves from the US dollar? Why do you think the BRICS is growing in power? Why do you think that the US dollar is being devalued? Why? Because of the weaponization of the US dollar and America running around with these sanctions. The world's sick of it. And so what are they going to do? They're going to get wealthier. They're going to get stronger. They're going to build bigger yachts. And they're just not going to need us. And it's just unfortunate because it didn't have to be this way. As Egypt implements massive devaluation of currency, sending pound tumbling, unrest and instability on horizon. This on the hedge today. The Egyptian pound crashed today as the government initiated a devaluation of more than 38% while also hiking interest rates. This caused massive levels. This was caused by massive levels of foreign debt, the propping up of the pound, and of course the war that is taking place over there. Now, of course, people will say that could never ever happen here. I disagree. I think it could happen here. I think it's happening right now. So just a few things I wanted to share with all of you. Be careful, be safe out there. So much happening. Make sure you're protecting yourself the best way you can, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. God bless.